And we are here with our newly announced next bachelor. Grant Ellis is here. Grant, welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour.
Thank you guys for having me.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour. I'm Joe.
And I'm Serena.
And we are here with our newly announced next bachelor. Grant Ellis is here. Grant, welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited, and I love y'all platform. You guys do a great job, and I'm excited to talk to you guys today.
Yeah, when we had you on the first time, I don't know, Serena, didn't I say I think he could be the next bachelor?
Yeah, you might have said something along those lines.
I feel like
I think we said I feel like you're going to be around, like we're going to see you again.
Yeah,
whether that's Paradise or something.
Thank you guys. I was surprised myself. I'm super surprised. I'm really grateful, and just for the opportunity at hand, and for me to meet my potential wife. And it's gonna be so fun, and I'm sure it's gonna be crazy, exciting, and I'm excited for my love story to unfold.
Yeah. So let's talk about that moment, because it's got to just be so exciting. What was it like getting the call and being told you're the next bachelor?
If I could describe it, I'm just grateful. I'm just super grateful. All this is coming at once, and I'm just living in the moment. And when I was called, I just expressed gratitude, and I was like, of course, I'll take the role. And if you guys are going to help me find my wife, I'm excited about that.
Did you have any hesitations? Because it is a big, it is a big thing.
Absolutely zero hesitations.
Wow. Okay.
I was super excited, and when people can handpick, your potential partner for you, and based off of certain things, and then you get to sift through and see which woman is for you, which one is not. Who wouldn't love to do that? So I'm blessed, and I'm in a great situation.
What was your family's reaction to everything? Because it's a lot to go back to back. In terms of the filming and being away and you've been through so much. Now they're just catching up, and you're going to be gone again soon.
Yeah. My mom was happy. My sister was happy. My dad was happy. I've been in Texas kind of taking care of my grandma or something, because she has Parkinson's. So she was happy. And then, I had to kind of tell her again, like every day. I'm like, so everybody was happy for me. And I'm thankful for that.
Was there anyone that you were expecting to get the role besides yourself?
Yeah, I thought, Devin was really good. I know all the guys that were genuine, and I thought were genuine. I thought Marcus was genuine. I thought Devin was genuine. I thought Spencer was genuine, and I just think that it all comes down to who they want, and who was really there to try to find a relationship and try to find their partner. So yeah, there was a couple guys, and I would have been super happy for them.
So what is Grant looking for in a woman? Like, if you could describe your ideal woman to be cast on this show, what are those qualities?
Tread lightly.
Yeah, no.
What do you mean, Joe? What do you think he's going to say?
I'm just,
Don't
super fucking hot. The end.
I want somebody who's genuine. I want somebody who has a heart for other people. Somebody who's not self-absorbed. Somebody who is affectionate, who's kind. Obviously, a beautiful woman, but I'm super open in this process, because I know that just through life experience that sometimes the best things come in the most unexpected ways. So I'm looking at what's inside of a person, and I'm really going to be getting to know these women and asking them questions, and I'm going to make them, I'm going to discover myself, but they're also going to discover themselves in this process. By the way, I'm going to ask them questions. I'm going to figure out what they want, what they're looking for, and then ultimately determine who's going to be my best match.
You're an athlete. You seem to be a successful businessman. Preparation is key. How are you going to prepare? Are you preparing to be the bachelor?
Of course, I'm studying. So being an athlete, I have to watch film, and then being in the markets, I have to study and take notes after every session. So with me, I'm watching previous bachelors. I watched Matt's season, I watched Joey's season, I watched Nick's season, I watched Clayton's season. And I'm watching these seasons, and I'm saying, okay, like, this is a good takeaway. This isn't a good takeaway. But ultimately, I'm going to try to be myself, just try to learn from other past seasons and put my own spin on it.
What, after watching all those guys' seasons, what would you say is one takeaway of what not to do?
And one takeaway of what you want to take into your season as well.
Well, the number one takeaway of what not to do is I'm going to start with what to do. Is just just be sure of yourself. And when you commit, you need to commit. And that's something that I'm ready to do. So there's not going to be any I love yous and taking that back. There's not going to be that. When I see somebody that I'm ready and I feel like I'm ready, it's going to be a decision that I'm willing and ready to make. And then what not to do, just don't be insensitive. Just be emotionally aware of that these women are going through their experience also. So even though I'm going to have to disappoint some people, I'm going to try to make it to where I'm understanding their feelings and assure them that, even though I'm not your person, there's somebody out there for you that is your person, and you're going to learn from this experience.
What are you the most nervous for? And watching back all these seasons, is there anything that made you feel more nervous entering this role?
I'm honestly not nervous. Like I'm used to being under the pressure and the scrutiny of other people's opinions, and to me, I look at it as constructive criticism. So I'm not nervous at all. I'm just gonna go in there and be myself, and and whether people take that or adhere to that or not, that's completely up to them.
You went pretty deep on Jen's season, and you clearly had strong feelings for her. But would you say you were ready to get engaged?
If Jen would have chosen me, I would have been all in. I would have been all in, and I would have committed. And I feel like that's why my feelings developed, because once I got that, all that I needed was that emotional connection. And after our one-on-one date, when she understood me and I understood her, I was ready to support her, and I was ready to, be in the background and let her be everything she needed to be, and just support her in whatever she was doing.
This is a little harder of a question, and you may not have gone there yet, but have you thought about what it's going to be like to potentially feel like you're all in for 3 women?
I haven't thought about that. And I know there's going to be some adversity that I'm going to face. But ultimately, I feel like there's going to be deciding factors in a moment that I'm going to have to make a decision, and I'm going to have to stick with that decision. So I'm going to try to be calculated in the approach and think. It's so easy to say, because when your heart's in it, it's easier to think when your heart's not in it. But when your heart's in it, it tends to cloud your judgment and emotion. So I'm going to try to take a look back and step back and really think about my decisions before I make them.
Yeah.
I feel like decisiveness is somewhat more challenging when you're in these environments, because you don't have your friends and your family to confide in, which can be a good and a bad thing. What do you think your strategy is going to be when you come to those tough decisions and you would maybe be like, I wish I could call my best friend or my mom? What steps do you think you're going to take to help yourself make these hard decisions?
Honestly, I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to pray about it, and I know that the decision I make is going to be one that is going to be the right one for me ultimately. So I'm going to be in there by myself, but I'm not, because I'm going to have what I grew up on, my family's teachings, my mom, the way she raised me, my dad, the way he inspired me to be better, and I'm going to have a relationship. And I'm gonna pray about it, and ultimately, I think that's gonna lead me to the right decision.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, to romanticize it, it's follow your heart, but you do have to be somewhat calculated when you make these decisions, because you are falling for multiple people, and it isn't as easy as just following your gut, because that could be towards multiple. Or you could end up, maybe you'll be the first bachelor to get engaged to, you could have a throuple or something. What do you?
I think nothing that Grant has said has led us to believe that he's looking for a throuple, just to be clear. Joe's just trying to spice up the franchise right now.
Hey, maybe, you never know. Every with your wellness goals and dietary
In Bistro, the Chateau.
Learning by doing. Our students get real
Ultimately, I'm wherever
to Australia for Gen C.
internships and field-based research and graduate with the knowledge and skills employers want. Hamlin University, a top-ranked education within reach.
So you guys traveled right away to Australia for Gen season. Is there anywhere you're hoping to travel on your season?
I love Asia. I love Asian food. I love culture. I love but ultimately I'm wherever they choose. I'm ready to go. I'm just like I'm just excited, you know. So I can't express gratitude. So I know that they're gonna pick the right places. But yeah, if I had to pick, it would probably be.
Cool.
Do you have like a dream date or activity in Asia? I mean, like there's so many magical, mind-blowing dates on this show, helicopters, yachts. Like if you could pick a dream activity or date, what would it be?
Oh man. So it's going to sound crazy, but I'm really big on martial arts. So like, that's like, I would love to like see, some of the staples over there and just some of the, maybe some of the temples or something just involving, the culture. And because, when you're involved in martial arts, you really have to center yourself, and it just ties into me with trading and being patient and just things like that. So yeah, that's something big for me. And, that's probably, something I would like to explore.
I actually just saw a study. I mean, it was TikTok, I think. So take it with a grain of salt. But it was a study saying that little boys who are put into martial arts before the age of like 10 or something develop and like a way higher level of self-discipline and control as they age. Anyway, just a fun fact about Taekwondo.
Okay. Before we get into deep dive questions, what are you most excited for?
I'm most excited to meet the women, and I'm most excited to see what levels we're compatible at, and what they and to hear their stories and how they grew up and what makes them them, and then being able to realize what they've been through and what they're going through and why they're here, and then make a decision based off of my connection with them.
Nice. Okay. We have deep dive questions with our next Bachelor Grant.
So what we're going to do is one of our favorite things to do here on Bachelor Happy Hour that our Bachelor Nation reporter, Danny, I don't know if you've met Danny, but she's the best. She actually did this with us earlier this year. And for us, especially having done a lot of interviews over the years, it was really, really fun. So we're going to ask our next Bachelor Grant questions. He's definitely never been asked before on the show, on any podcast, and you will get to know him on a deeper level.
Yeah, we looked in his social media, some Googling. Well, actually, I didn't, but Danny did. And we're going way back. So, Grant, you ready?
Ready. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Let's kick it off. So let's start off strong. Can you tell us about the time you jumped out of a window while you were at a party in college?
See, I knew these were going to throw him off.
They threw us off like crazy. Like when Danny did these with us, we were like, how do you know this? Like, did you call our parents? What is going on?
Yeah, so I was pretty crazy back then. So it's crazy because I was on a full scholarship at Iona. And there was there was a house party going on. And I was in there, and my boy Shanny, my friend Shanny and his friend Will had thrown it, and I wasn't supposed to be out, because the coach knew everybody in town. So it was a little bit loud, and, somebody came to the door and they knocked, and I just freaked out. I was like, oh man, I don't want my coach finding out. So I just jumped out of the window and I kind of like ran away, and I ended up like injuring my foot a little bit. So ultimately it wasn't the best decision, something that a young person would do. And it wasn't a good decision.
Yeah, but
what did you tell
your intentions
coach?
were pure.
My intentions were pure. My intentions were escape, right? I told him that I was skateboarding, and I broke my ankle.
Nice. Okay,
you said earning 10 million is on your bucket list. Why that number, and how do you plan to reach that goal?
Oh man, that's just, shoot for the stars. And if you don't make it, you fall short, you're still pretty high up there. So 10 is just a number, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
ultimately, whatever I do earn from the market, I'm super grateful. But I'm just trying to shoot for a high goal, and anywhere in the millions would be nice.
I'm with
Can
you.
you tell us more about your career as a professional basketball player overseas and why you eventually stopped playing? I know we touched on this a little bit when we had you on the first time a while back, but just to refresh people's memory about you.
Yeah, so I've been playing basketball since I was probably 8 years old, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the competition, and I was the first Division I recruit in my high school. I had a lot of offers coming out of high school. I ultimately did good on my SAT, and I committed to Iona in the MAC. And we had some great runs in the tournament. And then ultimately, I was working out for the Dominican Republic national team. To try to qualify for the Olympics and everything. And one of the coaches over there was a coach in the country, so I ended up getting drafted there. I was a number 5 pick over there, and it was really a really fun experience in that country. But at the same time, it's super cutthroat, and that's ultimately what made me want to get in finance, because I saw a lot of guys that were either in the NBA Summer League or had a stint with the Grizzlies or something like that, and they would make this money and they would come back and they wouldn't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wouldn't know how to budget their finances or invest, and that's what got me into trading. But that's beside the point. In terms of basketball, I stopped because ultimately I went baseline and I dunked and I cut my elbow on the backboard, and then they didn't clean it out properly, and then ended up getting infected. And I almost lost my arm, and literally, yeah, it was a bad infection. It almost led to sepsis, and because after that I was like, you know what, I'm done hooping. I'm done hooping. I'm gonna stay here, be around my family, and I'm gonna try to build a life. Ultimately, the overseas route, it's really cutthroat, and it's like I've seen instances where there's been a guy playing and he had one bad game, and I'll see his replacement on the bench behind the game while he's playing. So it's like they don't really care. It's just you perform or you don't, and if you don't perform,
Yeah.
Yeah, and in a way, you're kind of just like you're just a number. Yeah, I don't like that though about the infection. I don't like that at all.
Joe has a cut on his foot right now, and he's about to go into a deep spiral. Joe, your cut is fine.
Fucking Grant,
okay? It's
you really
clear.
just fucked up my whole day, Grant.
There's no glass in it. It's okay.
Okay, to touch a little bit on basketball, because you kind of touched on this and led into our next question, but you did play AAU in high school, meaning you're one of at that time, you're one of the best players in the country, correct?
So I was ranked like 200 something in the country.
Okay.
I was the top 10 player in my state. The number 1 player in my state was a guy by the name of Kyle Anderson. He's been in the league like 12 years. So
yeah.
The best AAU team in the state of New Jersey at the time. It was called the New Jersey Players. And, we traveled, Kobe played for them, Tim Thomas, Vince Carter played with them, J.R. Smith, a lot of guys. So looking up to those guys and just getting in that direction was great. And, it taught me a foundation that ultimately I still have today. So, yeah.
Do you know who was when you were coming up? Do you know who was number 1 in the country at that time?
A guy by the name of Shabazz Muhammad. Shabazz Muhammad. He went to UCLA.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to UCLA. Did one and done, and he was a beast.
Jeez.
But it's crazy because the levels from being the best in high school, and then because I'm a high school team. So before I went to Hudson Catholic, I went to St. Benedict's, and we were number 1 in the country. And we were the number 1 team in the whole country. We had a guy by the name of Mike Kabongo. He was like the number 1 point guard. Xavier Monkford, he played for the Grizzlies too. Tristan Thompson was there before I went there. So that was cool. And then I graduated from a team called Hudson Catholic. We had 5 Division I players there. And then stepping up to college, it was like everybody's the best.
Yeah.
I got a shot there, and then just really your work ethic is where it has to take you over the top.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We know that you didn't quite make it to hometowns, but an ideal hometown
date. You didn't make it.
Jesus Joe. What is wrong with you?
He's fine. He's
the guy hasn't even seen the episode yet.
He's fine. He's the next Bachelor.
Well, as we said, you didn't make toenails, but an ideal hometown date would be seeing a show at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. Are you into theater? And if so, what's your favorite play, show?
I'm not into theater like that, but I'm not like well versed in theater, but I do respect the art form of I respect art. So being able to take a concept, whether it's music or acting, or take an idea and being able to express it in a way that it requires creativity and thought is something that I respect. So I don't have a lot of plays. I probably would, if there was a play for the movie Avatar, I probably would love to go see that. But yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if they turn Avatar into a Broadway musical or a Broadway play at some point.
At some point.
Yeah, that would be great. So, but yeah, theater is something that, although I'm not well versed in it, I respect the craft.
Serena, keep this in mind. I do really want to go to the theaters and see the new Beetlejuice movie when it comes out. Okay, we heard you have an embarrassing hide and seek story from childhood.
Oh, yeah.
Would you care to share that with us?
Oh, okay. So I was playing hide and seek, and we were in this townhouse, and I remember I was.
Wait, how old are you? I
was probably like, probably going on 10 maybe, or 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I was pretty young, and I was like hiding. There was a space like behind the wall in the bedroom. I was hiding behind there, and I'm like so smart, like they're never gonna find me. And then they come around the corner and they found me, and they say, they surprised me. And when they surprised me, I was so shocked that a string of snot just came down my nose, and it was they were like, and I was just like, oh, it was just like hanging there. So yeah, that was so embarrassing. I never heard the end of that like that. Oh.
I mean, that's better than pissing yourself.
Yeah, I thought for sure.
I thought you were. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Like surprising me, and I like bark. I'm like, no, it was like a string just hanging there. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, so it was pretty embarrassing.
Okay, can you tell us about the tattoos you have on your chest and your left arm?
Yeah, so my left arm is a tattoo of a wolf. I actually got it when I was in Dominican Republic because, I was alone out there, and I didn't have any family, and out there, and it was just like I was going through a transition period where I'm playing against these grown men. You know what I'm saying? And it's my first year, and these guys are trying to support their family. So I was, and I had all these expectations on me as a number 5 pick, and I was having a rough time, and I felt alone. So I kind of got a lone wolf on my arm, and when I look at that, it reminds me of some that period of my life. And then this on my chest is just a scripture verse, it's Psalms 103, and then on the right side it says God's child. Yeah, so I got more. Will I get more? Maybe. I might get more. It's not like something that's a priority for me. I might want to finish out this left side, but if I don't, then it's I'm not in a rush.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your Ferrari? Yeah,
so I ended up. It probably wasn't the best decision to do. You know what I'm saying? Maybe new money, and then But looking back, the one thing I will say is, when you do get to a place where you make some nice money, just invest it or save it. Because with trading and the purchase that I made, there's months where it's up and down, and then you have to live below your means. So that's something that I do. And maintenance, you're fixing something and it's like 8,000 here or 5. It's just a lot. It's a lot to maintain. That's one thing I will say about my car.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful car.
But it's probably fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. You know what I'm saying? And people judge you off of what you drive, and it's just like it's a lot of attention that is I'm kind of a low-key guy, so
yeah, Ferrari isn't giving low-key energy, and
not
neither
anymore.
Is the Bachelor. So you got to change your identity there.
Yeah.
You shared in a previous relationship you were possibly months away from getting engaged / married. How did you realize that wasn't right for you, and what do you know now that you didn't then?
It's not even that I realized that it wasn't right for me because I was all in. It's just that people grow apart, and if both parties aren't willing to fight through tough times, then it's not going to work. So ultimately, it was supposed to happen that way. And a lot of times when you're going through a tough situation, you don't see what's on the other side. But ultimately, things ended up for the better, and I'm super proud of where she is today. I'll always support her from background, and like, I want the best for her. And ultimately, it didn't work out the way I thought it would. But there's a better plan ahead and a bigger picture ahead for me.
Do you consider yourself a good cook? If so, what's your favorite meal to cook?
I'm a little above average cook, so I do have some Spanish blood in me. So like my grandma always used to cook steak and rice and beans, and mac and cheese, grilled chicken. So I think my broccoli, asparagus. So my favorite meal to cook is probably a nice ribeye with some black beans and some steak and some sautéed broccoli with some onions and garlic. A little bit of steak on it.
Is a ribeye
Sounds
your
good.
steak of choice?
Yeah, it's probably I love a good ribeye, because it doesn't need a lot of seasoning, and then you can sear that fat cap, and like it's just it's
Yeah, I just recently switched over to ribeyes. I always did like a New York strip, and lately I've been getting a ribeye, and I really enjoy them.
nice steak is like it's a dream,
It is so
Yeah, I
good.
had steak last night. It was good. No vegetarians on this podcast right now,
No.
clearly. We know that you love poetry and reading. What are some of your favorite books or authors?
So it's gonna sound so crazy, but some of my favorite books are trading books, which is such a nerd thing. Trading in the Zone, The Psychology of Money. Mark Douglas is really good author. So it's not creative. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, those I love books like that because I just love to learn new things. And if I'm going like based on let's see, like a adventurous book or something that I read when I was a kid, that's a great question. I probably would pick man, I'm trying to remember this book. It was like a series of unfortunate events. A series
Yeah.
of That was like I read that book. I read those books. I used to love those books growing up.
Those were fun. And then they made it into a movie, and
Yeah, I was gonna say-
it's kind of dark.
Yeah.
Books were way better.
Yeah, but books are always better.
You plan to visit every country in the world. Which ones have you been to so far, and which is your all-time favorite?
So I've been to a lot of the Latin countries, So when I was traveling, I haven't really got to explore the way I wanted to, like in Puerto Rico, Mexico, Dominican Republic, Spain, Europe. A lot of places I haven't really got to explore the way I wanted to because I was always playing. But
True.
yeah, I really want to go to Jamaica. I really want to go to Asia. I really want to go to different places, just see all the different culture that's involved in that.
You said you've been to a lot of like Latin influenced places. Is that why you're so into salsa dancing?
Yeah, I'm into all types of dance.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything. I'm not the best, but I just like to express myself in that way, especially when I got a couple of drinks. So,
Yeah.
Did you see the breakdancing at the Olympics?
yeah, that was hilarious.
They should send you next year. You could definitely beat that girl from Australia.
Right. That was crazy, man. The Olympics was crazy. You see that meme? The dude from Turkey just walked in.
Yeah.
No,
Hey.
I did it.
With the gun, right? That
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
Everybody else is like has the one because the competition was like it's a shooting competition, and everybody else has like the one-eye goggles, and they have these goggles on. He just walks in there with glasses and wins second.
Yeah,
No
he just
way,
walked.
really?
Oh yeah. Oh, you haven't seen that? It's all
No,
it's
I've
all
been
over
looking
Twitter.
at the guy. I've been
Yeah.
seeing the guy who likes chocolate muffins and the breakdancing chick, and that's basically my entire Olympic TikTok feed.
Yeah, when it's crazy because the breakdancing thing is like when you lie on your job applications and like I see the
Yeah, but now she's getting like sued because I guess she created the committee to decide who goes to the Olympics for breakdancing and then like put her husband as one of the judges and then auditioned herself and like snuck her way in there.
Really?
It's a scandal, guys.
She got exposed on that because that was she didn't do the best.
She's exposed. So Grant, get your way in there. And actually, I don't think they're bringing breakdancing back, but maybe if they do salsa dancing.
Just worry about the Bachelor right now. That's all you need to worry about. All right, before we let you go, Grant, we're going to play a quick game. Red flag or rose with Bachelor Grant Ellis. You ready?
Ready.
All right. Is it a red flag or a rose if they don't post you on their social media?
That's a good question. Probably a rose. You know, sometimes am I supposed to describe why or?
No, it's just
rapid fire.
It's rapid fire. But I would say if you're in a relationship for quite some time and she never posts you on her social media, I feel like that would be somewhat of a red flag.
Yeah, after a while, but when you're first entering a relationship, it's like, because you never know what people might try to ruin your relationship or they see this and, it might be a little. So at first, yeah, keep it low. But then after a while, post.
Okay. Don't offer to pay on the first date.
Oh, I don't mind. That's a rose, first date is on me and the dates are on me. And then, we'll figure something out, later on.
I agree. Have a really close guy friend.
Wow.
These are good questions.
That's it. I don't mind. That's a rose. If you guys were super close before me, as long as there was nothing there, then But if he's just a new guy friend coming around and wanting hugs and stuff, I don't know. I don't know how about that.
What if he's a guy? What if he's a really close guy friend and they have occasional sleepovers?
No.
Well, that's still cheating, Joe. What?
No. All right. Text you first after the date. Text you first after the first date.
Rose. That's a rose.
Yeah. Always love to spill the tea with you.
That's a rose. If my woman wants to come in and talk to me, I'm not much of a gossiper, but if she wants to talk about things like it, hey, that'll stay with us.
Serena's such a gossiper.
I'm not a gossiper. I'm just a gossiper with you.
Still have pictures of their ex on their Instagram.
Oh, that's a red flag.
Okay. Are friends with their ex.
I'm not gonna say it's a rose or a red flag. You could, as long as you could care for them, but as long as there's no like communication or you could care. You could have love for them as a friend, but just don't be talking to them.
Yeah, I feel like that's very like situational too. Like if it was like a 2-month relationship in high school, like we can look past that. But if it was like a 2-year girlfriend, like maybe not.
Hey guys, I didn't come up with these questions. Don't like holding hands in public.
That's a red flag. We gotta hold hands sometimes. But I understand you might need your space sometimes. I get it.
I tell that to Serena all the time. She never wants to hold my hand in public.
That is not true. I do want to hold your hand.
Call their mom every time you guys argue.
That's a red flag to me. We should handle our problems between us.
Okay. Take hours to reply to a text.
Red flag.
Are a member of the Mile High Club.
That might be a rose.
I like that. Are a natural flirt.
Man, I'm not gonna have to give a red flag or a rose. I'm not gonna say that might be a red flag, but sometimes people just think you're flirting with them when you're not.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. That's true.
Like to cuddle while they sleep.
That's a rose. I like to cuddle with me. Sometimes I'm gonna start cuddling and I might end up on the other side of the bed, at night. So
that's the move.
Yeah.
Ask about your past relationships.
I don't mind. That's definitely a rose. You have to, figure out about somebody's past, as long as it doesn't affect the new relationship.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. All right, well, Grant, we're going to let you go because that's all we got for you today. And I'm sure you're going to be on this podcast at least minimum 2 more times. I'm so happy that you are the Bachelor. Very excited for you. So congratulations and thank you for taking the time today.
Thank you guys so much. Again, I love what you guys do. I respect it. You guys do a great job, and I can't wait.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys again. I appreciate every opportunity.
Absolutely. And to all our listeners, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to download and subscribe. We love having you guys here, and we will have more interviews and recaps coming up every week.
Yep, lots more exciting stuff coming from Jen's season. The Golden Bachelorette is just around the corner, so don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for listening. Bye.